Hello and welcome back to our local to global series here on TEW2020 is what we're playing on. That's right. We are, of course, the Random Wrestling Review, both the channel name and the wrestling promotion name, although they are spelt differently. And last episode on this show, we kind of managed to get to a point where we are kind of in a comfortable place financially, in that we actually made a profit despite running a show. And that means we've got the green light really to be a little bit more expansive in terms of our roster and in terms of the numbers of matches on the shows. Up to this point, in large part, we have had one match on each show. There have been more recently a couple of shows where we've had two matches, but in the main we've had one. We're now going to commit to having two matches on each show. Our next show isn't too far away. In fact, it's not even scheduled in yet. So let's get that in right away to start things out. Add new. Don't want to add new TV show. What are we doing here? Add new event. Right, RWR. Right. Okay. So what show is this going to be called? I think we're going to go for Saturday week 2 as usual, and we'll have a special event here. We're not intending to have another annual event on the books. Goodness. Okay. RWR. I've drawn a blank. Drawn a blank as to what we're actually going to call the next show. What are we going to do? Well, the plan, obviously, Kimo's just beaten Michael Modest in the main event of the last show. So I feel like the plan right now is to have Buddy Wayne defend against Kimo in the next event. So how about we just go? How many matches have we had between Buddy Wayne and Kimo? I think we may have already had a couple. Um, how about we call this um, November Fest? There we go. November Fest, not Oktoberfest. November Fest. That's the next show that we're going to have. And I felt that name's rubbish, but I felt a little bit under pressure to get one in because I didn't want to leave this episode talking about what the name of the next show was going to be for too long. So let's move on. In fact, we're not going to move on. We're going to have a look for another wrestler. So we did have a look through the Northwest, and we've got Moondog Ed Moretti here, who is $50 per show and can wrestle. I think he's cheap. I'm going to bring him in. I don't think he'll be very good. 50, can't pass that up. $50. Let's bring him in. So Ed Moretti is going to be our latest wrestler. So that is going to take us to the next show. And yeah, obviously we're going to headline this one with Buddy Wayne's latest defense against Kimo. I did talk about, I want to go into this in some detail at some point, but I did talk about having a number one or a ranking system, I should say, which I'm going to use in this promotion. And it's still a little early because our roster is still pretty small to put it in place, if I'm honest. But I will probably say that ranking system currently, I've put it in place, but it's a bit early for me to introduce it as the kind of thing that underpins who gets a title shot. All I will say is that I did a test this morning looking through our past results and checked, and it actually works for the events we've already done, i.e. the title defenses that Buddy Wayne has already made. It it fits with the system I've got. And so I'm going to keep using it and see how it goes. It does require me to be a little bit careful about who I give wins and losses to, but I still think it's reasonably straightforward, reasonably easy to understand, and would actually make for quite good of a booking aid in some ways. I think sometimes people imagine that having a good ranking system in place limits what you can do from a booking perspective. And I guess it kind of does, but it also opens up new opportunities that you might not otherwise take advantage of. And I'll get to that in a minute. Ratson de Leon, which I believe is Chris Jericho, has just won some title in CMML. Well done to him. So let's go into this November Fest show then. We've got all of our wrestlers available. They're not all going to appear, obviously. The first one we're going to do, though, in fact, let's go back a step. We need to make sure that we've set up Moondog Ed Moretti in the right way. So he's going to be working heel. He's got the Moondog gimmick. Don't really know what the Moondog gimmick is. I mean, obviously I know who the Moondogs were when they were wrestler, but they were basically just dogs, weren't they? That was their gimmick, the Moondogs. So if that's the gimmick, I don't really want that one. He can't do Swagger, Legitimate, or Weasley Underdog, but I think an Offbeat Unstable would be quite good. Um, and how about we have a sort of, so this guy I want to be a bit kind of off the rails, a little bit kind of, yeah, I think just unstable actually works quite well for me. I'm going to go creative, but yeah, creative but reasonably generic. Um, so that's going to be his gimmick. And I don't think I'm going to call him Moondog. I'm Ed Moretti. I'm just going to call him Ed Moretti. I think that's fine for me. So Ed Moretti is the guy we're bringing in. He will be in the first match, and he's going to go up against Blitzkrieg in that first match. And be 13 minutes. And it is going to be a win for Blitzkrieg by disqualification, by Rage DQ. To set up the sort of unstable nature of Ed Moretti as a character. So let's just make sure that that's clear, that that's a DQ finish I want. And we'll book that segment. And then, of course, our main event will be the title match, Buddy Wayne against Kimo. Let's just have a look at their. I want to see how many. Yeah, he's injured still. Yeah, get it. Let's have a look at how many matches. So they've had the first one was at Third Time's a Charm last November. Then they had another one, a Seventh Heaven, in April. And this is their third bout. But this time it's babyface versus a babyface. And which way am I going to go? Well, I'm going to do a draw. And it's going to be a double. It's going to be a sports entertainment finish. Thanks to the interference of none other than Michael Modest. Of course, Michael Modest got involved in this one. There's two biggest rivals are facing one another for the title. He's not going to allow that to get anywhere, is he? Let's be honest. Of the usual stuff that we add to this these matches. Yeah, okay. Book segment. No, put the title on the line. So Buddy Wayne versus Kimo, Ed Moretti versus Blitzkrieg. We need some angles though. So first of all, Michael Modest, after the main event, says that it's a disgrace that Wayne and Kimo are fighting for the title. No, actually, I've changed my mind. We're going to go a bit out of whack here. So Michael Modest, Kimo. We're gonna set up the following month's title match, I think, and we're gonna have Bruce Hart comes out and makes a three-way for next month. So in some ways, Michael Modest is being rewarded here for his interference because he gets a title shot, but also in another way, he has to face his two biggest rivals in one match at the same time. So I feel like it's not as simple as just a kind of a kind of reward for interfering. And I think we're going to have here. Let's have actually let's do this as Michael Morris saying it's a disgrace that Wayne and Kimo will fight for the title. Will promises to put an end to it. So Michael Morris here talking about the two men who are going to be in the main event. We may as well take advantage of him, seeing as he's going to be on the show. But he's going to talk about them, and he's going to do that before the opener, I think. So that's the show. That's the show we've got today. just check the booking analysis is about his injury and then the lack of announcers. It is. So we go for our latest event, and there are 62 people here. It starts off with Michael Modest talking about how there's no way that Bruce Wayne, I keep doing that, Buddy Wayne and Kimo will fight each other for the fighting for each other for the title is right. He's going to make sure that this doesn't go unanswered. Michael Modest worked the crowd well, using the freedom to improvise to his advantage. Bruce Hart continues to be a rubbish road agent. Segment rating of 20, a pretty decent start to the show. Then Ed Moretti versus Blitzkrieg is a pretty decent match. Blitzkrieg continues to be really, really good. He wins this one in 13 minutes and 17 seconds when Moretti gets disqualified after going into an attacking rage on Blitzkrieg. The unstable gimmick got an initial rating of very good, so that's really positive. His in-ring performance wasn't great though, only a 20, but the segment rating of 29, one of the best matches in company history. Really pleased with that. Good start from Moretti. Main event of the night for the Northwest title, and unfortunately this one went to a draw in 16:43 when the match descended into chaos after Michael Modest got involved. A segment rating of 16, Buddy Wayne continues to be hampered by injury, Kimo at 26, and all the usual stuff in terms of negatives being talked about, including this time Buddy Wayne being off his game. Bit of a shame for that one. And then after the match, Bruce Hart comes out and tells um, Michael Modest, Kimo, and Buddy Wayne that they will be put against one another in a three-way match next month for the title in the main event of our next show, the Christmas show as well. And Bruce Hart's old school heel gimmick, which I should have probably changed before putting on screen, got an initial rating of awful, so that's not great. But nevertheless, we are not going to see too much of Bruce Hart. He, of course, is the owner of the company. I haven't spoken much about that, but he is the owner of this company, and so he's kind of steering the ship anyway. So overall rating of 19, increased our popularity. That Blitzkrieg Ed Moretti match was really good. I'm going to make a speech which is to that effect. Blitzkrieg, again, praise for a great performance. I think Moretti deserves to be complimented, and I think I'm going to give the other one to Kimo because he was the better man in the main event. So that's the latest show done, with a title match main event already agreed for the next show, a three-way match. How's the finance doing after that? I mean, fine. We've lost $60 so far, and we've got the rest of the month to recoup that money. So I think we're really happy there. And our size has gone up to 3. Everything's trending in the right direction. We've also added another wrestler to the roster in Ed Moretti. Of course, we introduced Sean Stasiak last time as well. So we've got a good group of wrestlers, and that's really cool. Happy with the event there and what came of that. And obviously, we're going to get in the December show as well today. And I've been thinking about what we're going to do going forward. We're nearly into 1997. And I think, as I say, the money situation is going to really help, because now that we are confident that we can make a profit on our shows each month, I can start to push the boat out occasionally and possibly even have as many as 3 matches on a given show. So, obviously we've got to be careful. We don't want to go too crazy, but I think if we're in a position where, for example, we can put 3 singles matches on a show, or 2 singles and a tag match on each show, a singles and a tag match, not 2 singles and a tag match. Then where we're only using 6 wrestlers rather than, for example, 4 wrestlers, which has been our previous sort of maximum we could afford, then we can start to actually make these events feel like real events. I think up until this point, they've all felt a little bit, silly, because they're sort of 45 minutes long. They're made up of 2 angles in a match, oftentimes. Now we're making some money. We can start to turn these events into real feeling shows, which is obviously a good thing in general. So let's see what happens at the end of this month. and we'll take a quick glance at the finances to make sure that the profit we expect to make we are making. I mean, look at that, $442. Now the money we're making is going up exponentially, and that's because of these sponsors that are now giving us more money. There's a new champion in WCW. The Giant defeated the Dingo Warrior at World War III, and Earl Robert Eaton won a 10 wrestler battle royal. A 10 wrestler battle royal. That's not what World War III used to be. Oh, but there's a 30 wrestler battle royal as well on the same show. Why was that the main event though? With Earl Robert Eaton? What a funny thing that's happened there. That's ridiculous. But anyway, the Giant is the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion after defeating Dingo Warrior. I can only imagine that a 1 year sort of after his debut big show against a way past his prime Dingo Warrior. I cannot imagine how poor that match probably was. But whatever the case, that's WCW's latest champion, and Randy Savage won the World War III Battle Royal, even though there was an additional Battle Royal in the main event, which was only 10 men and was run by Bobby Eaton, of all people. Not that Bobby Eaton's a bad wrestler, very good wrestler, in fact, but funny. But I'm not sure he was a headlining act at any point really in his career. So this one is going to be RWR. How can we work in the three-way element of this? I think we'll just call it three-way. RWR three-way. It's also the Christmas show, but I'm not going to let that affect the name of this show. So there we go. RWR three-way is in, ready to go. We're not going to sign anybody this time. We've actually got enough wrestlers at the moment to give us what we want to fill up the next card. And we've already got obviously our main event. Just wondering what I'm going to do in terms of the undercard, whether I'm going to add another match. This feels like, this feels like quite a big deal because it feels like we're going to end up with 5 different wrestlers on the show, which is obviously a little bit more expensive. But I think it's safe to say we can afford it now. So we can probably afford 6 or 7 wrestlers on the same show, in fairness. So we'll have a look at that and determine what we're going to do on the undercard in just a minute when it comes up. We're also approaching, of course, the end of the year, which means we'll get the end of year awards very shortly. And entering into 1997, we're going to be properly entering a period where wrestling was hardening in its style. Obviously, ECW was getting more and more popular and would go on to pay-per-view in 97. WCW had already become a little bit more reality-based with the beginning of the NWO, and WWF were starting to make first moves towards the Attitude Era at the time. Okay, here we go then. So into three-way. Let's put the main event in first because we know that's the match we want to open up. Where is it? Why is there not a 1 versus 1 versus 1 normal match? Well, that's just silly. This is a silly, limited list of matches we've got here. Wow. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to add a match here. This is frustrating. I didn't expect to do any of this kind of stuff. Proper administration here. 1v1v1 fatal four way. That's one wrestler too little. Here we are. 1v1v1 triple threat. Okay, so this is one fall. This is the one we want. Couldn't see it when I was looking through the list. So Buddy Wayne will defend the title against both Kimo and Michael Modest. Buddy Wayne's still injured. I'm going to go 19 minutes with this one, so a bit longer, which also means we're going to have another match on the show. Right, now, a decision to make here. Am I going to switch the title? And I honestly haven't decided until this moment. I even thought about what I was going to do here. I think I just assumed that Buddy Wayne was going to come out as the winner, and then I thought, hang on, I need to think this through. So I still want Michael Modest to be significant. I'm going to have Michael Modest win. Am I going to have Michael Modest win this, despite the fact that Wayne and Kimo are the two baby faces? We've kind of got this backwards psychology going on with Modest the heel against two baby faces, which I'm never very comfortable with. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of triple threat matches in general. I don't tend to use them very often, but I'm making an exception with this series because there's a lot of, I'm having to make a lot of allowances given that we've got very little money. I'm tempted to make Michael Modest a winner. I'm going to go with it. Michael Modest is going to win the title. Finally, after over a year, Buddy Wayne being Northwest champion, he's going to lose the title here. It's got to be storytelling. We're going to give it slow build as well. He's going to get a flash pinfall finish on Kimo. So that's where we're going with this one. We're going to have a new champion. That's pretty exciting actually. I hadn't even thought about that before just getting to this page. So are we going to use Ed Moretti again, or is it going to be Blitzkrieg, or what are we going to do in this one? Tempted to have Blitzkrieg against Wellington Wilkins Jr., although we haven't used Sean Stasiak again. How about we go with Sean Stasiak against Ed Moretti? That's what we're going to do. These two are going to face each other. 12 minutes. And the winner of this one is going to be Stasiak. This one's going to be a distraction finish where Blitzkrieg is going to distract Ed Moretti. So we are going to use 6 wrestlers on this show. We're going to push the boat out. Why not? Yeah, I think that makes sense as the finish for this one. Okay. I think seeing as we've got Stasiak on the show, we ought to give him a talking segment because he was fantastic. And actually, what we're going to do is we're going to have Stasiak says he's ready for a shot at the title. Challenges winner of tonight's main event. We'll push that up to 8 minutes, bring that down. And then also after the main event, I think we'll have Michael Modest celebrating. Celebrating his victories, finally picking up the title. So just check the booking analysis screen, that's all fine. Wellington Wilkins Jr. is the only wrestler we're not using today. It feels like a big show, in fairness. I should have started the storyline last time around between Ed Moretti and Blitzkrieg. I got a feeling Blitzkrieg is still listed in the other story, which is annoying. I may have to. Yeah, let's just have. Oh, right. Let's first of all take Blitzkrieg out of this one. Yeah. Then we're going to add this other storyline, which I should have added the last show because that's where it started ultimately. But they're now in a feud with each other as well. Okay, so here we go. Big show today. The RWR 3-way, and the end of 1996 is upon us. So let's do it. So it starts with 63 people. That's really good. And Sean Stasiak defeats Ed Moretti in 11:35 by pinfall after a distraction from Blitzkrieg. Segment rating of 26. Stasiak was really decent in the ring again. Moretti a 21, so slightly better than last time. Bruce Hart still not very good. Road Agent. Nice. A good start. Blitzkrieg obviously getting the distraction on Moretti to allow Stasiak to win. Then Stasiak, another good angle where he's got the mic. He looks really good in front of the crowd. A segment rating of 40. And challenges the winner of tonight's main event. So Stasiak now wants a title shot after 2 successive victories. And that is pretty much as good as anybody's done as of late. Then the main event, a 19 rated match. Michael Modest wins the RWR North West title in 19 minutes and 6 seconds when he pins Kimo with a roll up. So Buddy Wayne got a rating of 25, Kimo 27, Modest at 25, and the injury Buddy Wayne is working through still took a toll. So that has been our main weakness throughout this period, and it's ironic that just as Buddy Wayne's about to get over that injury, I'm taking the title off of him. I should have probably done it a long time ago, but I wanted this story to play out as I wanted it to play out, and we got the. If there's one advantage of having no popularity at all, is that you can't kind of turn your fans off because they're not expecting anything at all. So that sort of situation allowed me to just plow ahead with what I wanted to do. And then after the match, Modest celebrates becoming a champion. Segment rating of just 9. I guess it says here, the lack of anything interesting happening in the segment was a problem. I can understand that, I suppose. That is the end of the show. An overall rating of 24, which is pretty good for us. Show increased our popularity in one region. Once again, Sean Stasiak looks really good. I'm also going to give Ed Moretti a compliment, and I'm going to give Kimo a compliment because he was, again, the best wrestler in the main event. So everyone seems pleased at the moment. But we have our first new champion. It's taken some time to get there, but we have got there finally. If we look at this, Michael Modest is the second RWR North West champion. Buddy Wayne, in the end, 7 defenses of his title between September 1995 and December 1996. So about 14 months as champion for Modest. About 15 months as champion, I should say. And that was still only the best title defense. There was the 20 that Buddy Wayne in against Blitzkrieg. We now, with a non-injured champion, we might see that change somewhat. But Modest is the champion as it happens. Financially, we're doing fine. I'm going to look at that again at the end of the month, but we are doing fine. I also wanted to look at the roster and see if any of their popularity was doing any better in the Northwest. So you can see Blitzkrieg's at 20. Buddy Wayne has actually come down to 23. He was higher than that when we got him in the first place. Ed Moretti is a 19. Emo is a 20. Michael Modest is a 18. Stasiak a 20. And Wellington Wilkins Jr. 14. That's their popularity in the Northwest. So actually nobody really has done very well in terms of their popularity. But I think that's fine. Oh, and it is fine. And I guess the justification for that is the shows that they are involved in are in front of a crowd where the popularity of the promotion is actually less than their own popularity at this point in time. So why would it grow in that region if you were in front of such small crowds? I'm really happy with the way the game's going, and I'm really pleased with the decision actually to take Michael Modest in as champion because, as I said, I wasn't really thinking that as a default going into that show, but I can see more opportunities now with Modest as champion to kind of to open up new stories going forward. And I'm also happy we've got like a second story in place as well with Moretti and Blitzkrieg in their feud. Moretti's not had the most kind of auspicious starts to a career in a wrestling organization. He's lost both of his first 2 matches, but one of them was because he went into a rage and got disqualified, and the second one was because Blitzkrieg distracted him in his second match. So I guess he's got plenty to make excuses for there. We've also obviously introduced Sean Stasiak over the last 3-4 shows, and now he's somebody who might enter the title picture, maybe gives us a fresh matchup for the title. We will see very soon. So it's all starting to come together. Now we're just about to hit the 1st of January 1997, and we've got just enough time, I think, to just take a quick look at a couple of things that I like to look at this point in the year. And then we will be done for another episode. So Wrestler of the Year was Kevin Nash. That does not say a lot for the matches that took place during 1996. Company of the Year was WWF. Tag Team of the Year was Owen Hart and Yokozuna, still together. Obviously, this is a legacy of the fact that the game begins in 1995 when those two were a tag team. Match of the Year is between Ric Flair and Steve Williams from Monday Nitro in September. Show of the Year was the Survivor Series in 96. Young Wrestler of the Year, again, Rey Mysterio Jr. Veteran Wrestler of the Year, again, Ric Flair. Female Wrestler of the Year, I think, again, Akira Hokuto. Most Improved Company of the Year, Smoky Mountain Wrestling. So they've obviously gone through a period of growth during 1996. Independent Wrestler of the Year, Scott Steiner. So he's available. If I was WCW, WWF, I'd be signing him straight away. Manager of the Year, Superstar Billy Graham. I don't even know where he's working at the moment. Let's have a quick look at that. WWC, so in Puerto Rico. Announcer of the Year, Jim Ross. Color Commentator of the Year, Jerry Lawler. Referee of the Year is Katsumi Sasaki. Sasaki. Interesting. Okay, well, that's just about all we've got time for on today's episode. But thank you very much for joining me. If you've liked today's episode, give us a like and, of course, subscribe to continue to follow along. In the meantime, if you want to check out any of our other stuff, we've obviously got loads and loads of videos on the channel, but also the Random Wrestling Review podcast, 250 episodes at your fingertips immediately. You can go through the whole lot. There's hundreds and hundreds of hours of content there. But for me, that's all I've got time for today. Thank you very much.